The first conic section that we will discuss is the parabola. Now that you know how is it being generated, we will now formally define what is a parabola. A parabola is a set of points in a plane equidistant from a fixed point and a fixed line. The fixed point is called the focus, and the fixed line is called the directrix. And the point midway of the focus and the directrix is called the vertex. So this is an illustration of the four parabolas that we will discuss in this section. Case 1 is the parabola that opens upward. Case 2 is the parabola that opens downward. Case 3 is the parabola that opens to the right. And case 4 is the parabola that opens to the left. And it is important to note that the distance between the directrix and the focus is 2p. P here can have different signs. Thus, the sign of P indicates if a parabola opens upward, downward, to the right, or to the left. So, based on the definition, sabi niya kanina, any point daw dito, so let's say we have a point here, equidistant yan sa focus, same yung distance, at yung sa kanyang directrix. Kahit anong point dyan, palaging yung point na yon equidistant sa focus at sa directrix. Now, I will show case 1 and case 4, the equation of the parabola where the vertex is at 0, 0. For the case 1, since 2p is the distance between focus and the directrix, then we can say that the vertex to the focus is p, and the vertex to the directrix is also p. Kaya meron tayong 0p at saka y equals negative p. Okay? Now, let's have a point A, an arbitrary point with coordinates xy, and our B with coordinates x negative p because it lies on the directrix. So, sabi natin kanina, eto daw na point, equidistant dito at dito. Meaning, the distance here is equal to the distance here. Therefore, AF is equal to AB. Since AF is diagonal siya, so gamitan natin ang distance formula. So we have square root of x minus 0 squared plus y minus p squared is equal to, yun naman ating AB, since vertical lang siya, so magma-minus lang tayo ng mga y's. So we have y minus negative p, so that is y plus p. Now, if we square both sides, we will have x minus 0 squared plus y minus p squared equals y plus p squared. Then we have x squared plus y squared minus 2py plus p squared equals y squared plus 2py plus. Then we can cancel this, which leaves us with x squared minus 2py equals 2py. And then, pag nilipat natin to doon sa kabila, then we have x squared equals 2py plus 2py or x squared equals 4py. Therefore, the equation of the parabola with vertex at 0, 0 is x squared equals 4py. Remember that p is the distance from the vertex to the directrix or from the vertex to the focus. For case number 4, this is a parabola that opens to the left. So again, AF is equal to AB. Yun yung ating definition ng parabola. So AF equals AB. Since slant na naman to, so we will use distance formula. So we have the square root of x plus p squared plus y minus 0 squared equals p minus x. Ito naman, horizontal siya. So magma-minus tayo nung mga x's niya. So p minus x. Squaring both sides, we have x plus p squared plus y minus 0 squared equals p minus x squared. Then we have x squared plus 2px plus p squared plus y squared equals p squared minus 2px plus x squared. Since we can cancel this now, we are left with 2px plus y squared equals negative 2px. Then we move it. We have y squared equals negative 2px minus 2px. Or we have y squared equals negative 4px. And that is now the equation of the parabola that opens to the left and the vertex is at 0, 0. This is a summary of the four cases. So if the graph is opening upward, this is the sketch of the graph, and the equation is x squared equals 4py. If the parabola is opening downward, then our equation is x squared equals negative 4py. If it opens to the right, then we have y squared equals 4px, and to the left, we have y squared equals negative 4px. Let's recall that the curve defined by the equation y equals f of x minus h is just the curve defined by y equals f of x, but translated h units horizontally and k units vertically. To be particular, it is translated to the right if h is greater than 0, translated to the left if h is less than 0, translated upward if k is greater than 0, and downward if k is less than 0. So we will use this to find the equation of a parabola with vertex at hk. Theorem 1. The equation in the standard form of a parabola that opens upward or downward, whose vertex is hk, and whose focus and directrix are the absolute value of 2p units apart, is the square of x minus h equals 4p times y minus k. Note that the parabola opens upward if and only if p is greater than 0, while it opens downward if and only if p is less than 0. So remember, kapag upward or downward, ang nakasquare sa ating variable is yung x. Theorem number 2 naman, ito naman yung kabaliktaran. The equation in the standard form of a parabola that opens to the right or to the left, whose vertex is hk, and whose focus and directrix are square root of 2p units apart, is the square of y minus k equals 4p times x minus h. Note that the parabola opens to the right if and only if p is greater than 0, while it opens to the left if and only if p is less than 0. Okay? So kapag positive, to the right. Pag negative yung p, to the left. And yung ating y, yun yung nakasquare na term. Now, let's find the equation of a parabola with focus at 2, negative 2 and vertex at 2, 4. So, for our solution, yan, i-visualize muna natin yung ating parabola. Since andito yung kanyang vertex at andito yung focus, ibig sabihin, pababa yan. Okay? Pababa yung ating parabola. Therefore, we will use the square of x minus h equals 4p times y minus k. Next is, we have to identify our h and k. Ang h natin is 2 at ang k natin is 4. Saan galing yan? Dito, sa vertex. And our p is equal to negative 6. Paano ko naman nakuha yung negative 6? Pwede kang mag-subtract dito. Okay? So, 4 minus negative 2, or bilangin mo dito, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Kasi nga sabi natin, yung P natin, yun yung distance from vertex to focus or vertex to directrix. But since pababa ito, kaya yung P natin ay negative. Now, we can write now the equation. So, we now have x minus 2 squared equals 4 times negative 6 is negative 24 times y minus 4. So that is now the equation of the parabola. For example number 2, let's find the focus, vertex, and directrix of the parabola with equation the square of y plus 3 over negative 12 equals x minus 1. So for our solution, dapat naka-standard form siya. So we multiply negative 12 papunta dito sa kabilang side. So we now have square of y plus 3 equals negative 12 times x minus 1. And now, Since 4p is equal to negative 12, then p is equal to negative 3. Pansin ninyo, y yung naka-square at yung p natin ay negative. This means that our parabola opens to the left. So, ganyan ang kanyang itsura. Since andito yung kanyang vertex, then the focus is to the left of the vertex and the directrix is to the right of the vertex. Where the vertex is 1, negative 3. Saan nakuha yan? Ito lang. 1, negative 3. Our HK. Now, our focus is magma-minus tayo ng 3 doon sa ating x ng vertex. Bakit? Kasi di ba somewhere siya dito. So, arbitrary lang to ah. So, since paganyan siya, di ba ang distance nito ay 3, tapos ito 3 din. So, magma-minus tayo ng 3 doon sa x kasi yung y hindi naman magbabago. So, 1 minus 3 is negative 2, negative 3 ang ating focus. And our directrix naman, mag-a-add naman tayo ngayon ng 3. So, that is x equals 1 plus 3 equals x equals 4. Note that the directrix is x equals something. Kasi nga, yung directrix nito ay patayo, di ba? Patayo itong directrix niya. And we know that the equation of this is x equals something. Definition number 4. The line through the focus and the vertex of a parabola is called the axis of the parabola. And the chord through the focus that is perpendicular to the axis of a parabola is called the latus rectum with length absolute value for p. So to illustrate that, ganito siya. Ito yung ating axis of symmetry, ito yung ating directrix. We know that here is p. Ito din sa focus natin at saka sa vertex is p. Tapos, from here up to sa kabila is 4p. Ibig sabihin, etong part na to is 2p. Okay? Importante yan na malaman niyo kasi later on, we will find the latus rectum, the directrix, the focus, and the vertex. And also the axis of symmetry. Now, given the standard form, i-change natin ngayon ito sa kanyang general form. So we have the square of x minus h equals 4p times y minus k. Then expanding, we have x squared equals 2xh plus h squared equals 4py minus 4pk. And if we move this dun sa kabila, then we have x squared minus 2xh plus h squared plus 4pk equals 4py. Okay? So by symmetry, pagbabalik na rin ko lang siya, and I will isolate y. This means that y equals 1 over 4p x squared minus h over 2px plus h squared plus 4p plus k. Now, if we say this is A and this is B and this is C, then this can be equal to y equals ax squared bx plus c. Therefore, as long as a is not equal to 0, the quadratic equation y equals ax squared minus bx plus c has a graph that is a parabola whose axis is vertical. Similarly, for as long as a is not equal to 0, then the equation x equals ay squared by plus c is also a parabola whose axis is horizontal. Let's identify the orientation, the vertex, the focus, the directrix, the axis of symmetry, and the length and ends of the latus rectum of 8y equals x squared plus 4x plus 36. So, since this is in general form, gawin muna natin siyang standard form by completing the square. So, isi-separate ko ngayon yung mga x's doon sa walang x kasi i-complete natin yung square ng x. How do we complete the square? We divide this by 2 and then we square. So that is 4 over 2, that is 2 squared. So that is 4. Yun ang idadagdag natin to both sides. So we have plus 4 and plus 4 sa kabila. Note that in completing the square, palaging what is added to the left side should be added to the right side. From there, we know that this is now x plus 2 squared, and this is 8 times y minus 4. Since we already know that it opens upward, why? Kasi x natin yung squared, tapos yung 8 is positive. Yung p natin dito is positive. Our p is 2, right? Kasi 4p ito. So opens upward siya, and the vertex is at negative 2, 4. So since 4p equals 8, then p equals 2. Kaya yung focus natin is negative 2, 6. Okay? Opens upward kasi yan. So alam natin kung ito yung vertex, yung focus natin andito. So magdadagdag tayo sa y kasi nga y yung mag-change. So 4 plus 2 kaya naging 6. For the directrix naman, magma-minus tayo ng 2. Kaya we have y equals 2. Again, ang directrix natin dito ay y kasi nga horizontal yung ating line. And with that, we know that the axis of symmetry is at x equals 2. Paano natin nalaman? So again, kanina, dun sa drawing natin, so kung ito ay negative 2, 4, malamang andito yung axis of symmetry. Eh, di ba? X equals negative 2 yan. Okay? And the length of the latus rectum is 4p equals 8. So from the focus, ang focus natin is negative 2, 6. Okay? So eto yung latus rectum natin. Note that hindi nag-change yung ating y, only the x. So from the x of the focus, mag-a-add tayo ng 4. Kasi nga, 2p. So we have minus 4 here, plus 4 here. So the endpoints of the latus rectum are negative 6, 6, and 2, 6. And this is now the graph of the parabola.